Right, even though you said earlier, and if I look at most of your career, I could believe that is the logic. Because basically, it's the logic that a lot of the top pros in Europe have. It's that, except for unless you can get paid megabucks by one of the big orgs, people basically just in the off-season pick what they think is the best looking set of players to play with. Because people want to win, people want to be in the best team, people want to go to Worlds. So I could believe that for H2K, I could believe it for some of the later teams you're in. But I'm going to tell you right now, mate, there's no universe where I believe that Febiven went to Clutch Gaming because he thought that lineup was fucking straight fire. Like, that just sounds like they offered you loads of money and you thought you would smurf on in it. Am I right?
Of course, you're 100% right, yeah.
Because, obviously all fans flame you for that year because even though the team did well the first split, after that you didn't go to Worlds, you didn't do that well. Right, I just say this. Go back now, anyone. You can all look it up on those Wikipedias. Go and look at what the lineup of this Clutch Gaming team was, and then look at the lining of the TSM team that they placed ahead of that split. Like, to me, that team overperformed, mate. Like, I think you were actually the best part of that team. Like, listen, I'm not hating on those players. They just weren't top players, Like, there was a couple of, I thought Lero was a decent player, but some of the others were just, average or below average LCS players. Am I being too harsh?
I guess you could say so. I didn't really ever think about it like that. But I was very confident that even coming in with players that I didn't know, that I would be able to carry this team. And I guess I kind of proved that to myself. But then I realized we were never going to win against TL at the time. Because they were too good.
Sure.
And I don't think we had the skill ceiling. But when I looked at NA, I was always like, oh, this... I don't know, as an EU player, you always feel like if you're on top of your game, you always know and always feel that you're better than the individual players that are from NA. I guess that comes back to the confidence, right? But it is just... for me, it's just a fact. And this is also why people are importing a lot of players, right?
Sure.
But I would say that I was, during this H2K period, I think my focus started drifting away in a sense. So I think this decision was definitely, not based on the best roster. And I absolutely don't regret any decisions I made. I'm really in peace with what I did. And I think it was a really good time there. I was just struggling, I guess. Just everyone is fucking struggling, right? It's go to America, you go to a team, you realize that you're never gonna be the best team. You're just struggling individually, just you want to go back home. You miss your European brothers, your family, your stuff. It's just fucks with you emotionally, right? So.
What about in terms of the culture aspect? Was it the case we've heard about some teams I've heard basically that it's not the LCS players that are lazy, it's that some of them just don't have ambition, they're just fine being in the LCS and they play enough for the scrims and they play enough to keep their skills good, but they're not killing themselves to be the best player. They're not even anywhere close to what Koreans are So if you play with players like that, I've heard that's why some of the European players get a bit depressed basically, because it's you sort of look at your teammates and you're well, if this is as good as they are now, they don't even look like they even want to get that much better. They're just hoping they win the game, sort of. Was there any of that?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, this is obviously you're never gonna get. This is the dream, right? You get 5 players that are extremely driven, that just they have the skill ceiling of that is endless. In the reality, you're never gonna get this. But the trick is to get as many of those, right?
Yes.
Obviously, every player is gonna be different, but I think that, as you said, yeah, some people very relaxed. I think most of my team actually was really trying hard, but I think they just didn't know what was possible, and they were very narrow-minded in a sense where they would. For example, I don't understand why some players, they just don't study Asian teams. For me, it's been so obvious since I started playing that
Like they were never watching LCK or whatever. They were just
they're like
chilling.
not watching the VODs or like watching the pro views or like curious about what they're building or something. But I just think if you don't, like, if you're not interested in that, then like just be like doing this can give you so much.
Yes, it's the
Just
extra gear, right? You can go to the next level.
yeah, it's not like it's gonna change everything, but it's gonna give you like a new perspective. Or like, for example, right now when I look at like the Asians play, right? Still, like if I look at Rookie, if I look at Faker, like these guys, like they're still Showmaker. These guys are still so much better mechanically than like every mid laner in the EU, and it's not like mechanically it's like on another level basically. But then, for example, game understanding would be like on a similar thing, right? And then, for example, how a Showmaker will play a matchup, like there's no way that a fucking NA mid will play this matchup, like not anywhere close. And like you're not gonna learn playing the matchup like Showmaker if you're just gonna be playing against the another mid laner in NA. So like if you're not like willing to see beyond that, then I'm like, okay, then how are you gonna prepare for potentially going to Worlds and meeting these people? Because I've
Sure.
been through that, right?
Yeah, yeah.
In 2015, and I got fucked, like I got smashed. But I think if you're not in this, if you haven't been in this position before, and even for myself being in this position, it's impossible to share to your teammates to believe that this is important, because they don't feel that, like they don't feel like they need to know that, right? They just need to experience it. So yeah,
Sure.
just very, very, very a lot of steps behind, and I guess that's just a part of it, right? Like everyone has their strengths, weaknesses. It's just need to find the right balance. And I mean, we didn't do too bad. We were never gonna be the best team, but it was fun. I loved the experience, honestly.